Hi, this is Mr. Mulroy again, and first thing I showed you was how to remove tapered wheel bearings off of that. It's actually '02 Astrovan, but now after I've cleaned the bearings, I need to inspect the bearings, and then possibly if I have a bad bearing, I want to replace the bearing, and I need to show you that. Okay, first of all, first thing I want to do is I want to clean the bearing up thoroughly, and then I want to inspect it very closely. I want to inspect it for any problems on the rollers. Right? They're pretty smooth. It feels really good. It feels excellent. The same thing with the outer bearing. Feels really good. Okay? You can see that there's maybe a little bit of grease on it, but it feels really, really, really good. Okay? That looks really good. Then what I need to do is I need to inspect the races. Okay? And you can't, obviously you can't look at there. All you can do is assume if the roller is bad, then so is the inner race. But what about the outer race? Here's the outer race of the inner bearing, and here's the outer race of the outer bearing. Okay? And you just want to run your finger, clean it up, run your finger, and you can see that it looks fairly well, except for there's a little bit of marks on there, but they're smooth marks. They're not indented marks, corroded marks. So actually they're pretty good, but the intent of this video was not only to kind of go through that and inspect this, incidentally the relector ring for the anti-lock brakes. But anyway, check that race out, but the intent was to show you how to get that race out, how to replace the bearing. What if that bearing is bad? If the bearing is bad, the race has to go. Okay? All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure we start with a good bearing. Right? Take them out of the box. Always inspect them because they've been sitting on the shelf a long time. I found some that have rust and corrosion, so they actually look pretty good. Right? Pretty smooth. Race looks brand new. All right. So what I'm going to do is, to get that race out this way, that race is sitting here like this. The outer race of the inner bearing, see that? Sits like this. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, see the back side? There's a little lip that I can get with a punch with a small flat nose on it, and I can punch the back of this, and I can punch it out, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to place this down, then I'm going to find that lip. I'm going to find that lip on the inside, which is the back. It's the back of the race. I'm going to find that lip. Okay, and then I'm going to hit it evenly on both sides. Right, a couple more times. Right, a couple more times. Then when I'm done, the race comes out. Right. Make sure you didn't leave any burrs in there. I don't think we did, but just in case. Okay, because it makes it more difficult for the next one to get in. Now, so this race is removed, and this race here goes with this bearing here, and you're going to throw those in the trash. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to put the new race in the rotor. Okay. In order to do that, you need what's called a race driver. Okay, not a race car driver, a race driver. And a race driver kind of looks like this, cone-shaped. And they fit perfectly right over the race. Notice how it's nice and smooth, perfectly around. Okay? So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to put this on the handle, and I'm going to knock that in. Okay? Take my race. I'm going to stick it. I'm going to put it in relatively flat. Relatively flat, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a couple of little bangs, and I can feel it dropping in, right? And then it's going to go in, right? You can see it dropping. Get to a certain point when it bounces back just as hard as when you hit it. That's when it's bottomed out, and you're done. Your race is in. It's a brand new race. It is ready. It is ready for the bearing to be packed and put together perfectly. Okay? The other thing I wanted to show you about was on the seals. This was the seal that we popped out. So if you want to replace the seal, get another seal. Just take a little coating of grease. You can even take it off the old seal, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to lay it in here, right? Now most of us don't have the proper seal installer. So when you do this, use like something totally flat that runs across the whole length of the inside. When you knock this seal has to go in straight. It can't go in crooked. If it goes in crooked, it bends, and then when you put it together, it's going to leak. Okay, so the seal, you're going to have to make sure, and a lot of times we use big sockets. I use pieces of wood, right? I use anything I can to lay it flat and hit it so it goes in, okay, flat. Okay, so there you have it. Rotor's in, race, the inner race, sorry. That's the outer race for the inner bearing. That's the outer race for the outer bearing, okay? All right, in my next video, I'm gonna show you how to pack the bearings, install them in the rotor, and then preload it on the car. Okay, thank you.